Are you intrigued by history and science that have contested explanations? Ever thought, I'm definitely smarter than my friends, but not as smart as the experts? Then join Craig and Dave as they explore the mysteries of who the why the and how the will they actually find the answers? Probably not, but they'll have a good time trying. Welcome to Craig and Dave's Sci-Piece.
Welcome back to Craig and Dave's Sci-Piece. I'm Dave. This is not Dave. That's Craig.
Yep, that's me.
So this episode, as you know from watching the last one, we're going to be talking about the Sphinx, right?
Yep. But before we do, here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode of Craig and Dave's Sci-Piece is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby makes energy drinks that are jitter-free, crash-free, have no sugar, no artificial colors or dyes, and no BS. You get steady energy that lasts without the jitters or afternoon crash. There's no sugar and all natural colors from fruits and veggies. It's made with coffee fruit extract plus vitamins and amino acids. Your brain needs all these to perform, and there are no fillers. It also comes in a variety of flavors, from Japanese yuzu to s'mores, flavors you won't find anywhere else. Use promo code Sci-Piece for a 10% discount. Go check out Dubby. So we're talking about the Sphinx this week, and
Yes.
I think
Which one?
well, I was gonna say if this came up like a year ago, it'd be a different conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Because a couple of things. Well, that's probably let's go into that aspect of it. Like which one? Because what do you mean?
So recently, there's been they're finding these ruins that are pretty clearly Sphinx.
Yes.
You know,
More than just the one everyone knows about.
yeah, exactly. So and some of them are really weathered bad.
Yeah.
So how old does that?
Not
make
by
them?
wind, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
You know, so how old does that make them? And they're undoubtedly it's undoubtedly a Sphinx.
Is it a
you
true
know?
Sphinx? Like it's a statue of a dog or a jackal, not a dog jackal body with a man head?
Yeah, it's still it's
Tiny baby
it's
head?
extremely weathered, but you can make out the body formation
Right.
and the way it's sitting. And there's another one that they've also found another one that's still buried under the sand. So this one could
Could be fully intact.
could be intact.
Or more enough intact to know
enough
what it will
intact
look like.
to get a better idea. You know, but then we have
Where
the
is it in
Sphinx
relation
that-
to the Giza Plateau?
It's actually in the Giza Plateau. It's not
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, it's not that far away.
You know what else isn't that far away? Zahawi's time of death.
Yeah,
You like cannot like that will be the true disclosure day for history.
For history, yeah. When that guy finally gets his mitts off of everything in there. Jeez, man. You know, I understand, you know, we've talked about it before, and I understand like he has a lot of national pride, which there's nothing wrong with that. And
Right.
and I mean, you know, the Egyptian people should have a ton of pride. I mean,
This-
my God.
And I think at this point, even with new discoveries and things, I don't think it would take away anything.
No,
This-
you would just say they
one
were
of the-
here longer.
one of the greatest civilizations that's ever existed.
Yeah.
Period.
Period,
And I
yeah.
think even if you find out like, oh, they didn't build the pyramids of the Sphinx, so what?
Someone
They
did
still-
in
they-
Egypt.
Right. But the traditional Egyptian civilization that we all grew up learning about, thinking
Yeah.
about, was intact and ruled and was in place for thousands of years.
Yeah.
That by itself is an amazing accomplishment.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Not even Hitler could do it.
Yeah, no. He
tried.
He tried, yeah.
Failed miserably.
Failed miserably.
Didn't even get like a fraction of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
God, and he tried hard.
Yeah, real hard. Yeah. Those shenanigans he was pulling. But
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Sorry.
Yeah. But there's this we've talked about before that most of this stuff, some of this stuff was probably found.
It most likely was.
And added on to the Temple of Karnak for one thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
Yes,
the Temple of Karnak, I did. The Temple of Karnak is it's incredible because it's this one massive structure, this temple, but you can clearly see it was done at different times.
Yeah, it's like you put an addition on the house. Like it's all one house, but that looks newer.
That looks newer, and it's done differently.
Yeah,
they couldn't figure out how to do what they did. Like
they did their best.
They did their best. They did an unbelievable job.
Yeah, still better than what we could do now.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just you can tell the difference. There was a different the way it was worked and done. As opposed to this section and that section.
You see that in different sites around, like ancient sites around the world too. I think a lot of it was found and built. So you go to places we haven't talked about it yet, like Pumapunku and those places.
Yes.
Where, what did we talked about a few weeks ago? I can't think of the name. It's up in the mountains. What the hell? The what?
What?
The city in the mountains with the
not Pumapunku, in Peru.
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Something like that. You look at a lot of those places that have like the big megaliths and the stones, but then on top of them are smaller stones.
Yes.
That are more easily lifted by small groups of people.
Yeah.
Without the technology, whereas like we could figure it out. We could get like some of our friends, not all of them.
Yeah.
Some of them, but. Like, all right, we want to replicate this, but we don't have the tools, technology to do something this big, so they scaled it down. Clearly a difference, but it's the same site.
Same site. Yeah.
I think that's what you see a lot in Egypt because you see now people looking at everything is like the Egyptians tagged everything, hieroglyphs, this, that. You go in the pyramids, nothing. It's all clean.
There's no hieroglyphs.
It's because it's an engine. You can't have any imperfections.
Yeah, exactly. Like we talked about how the wall, that one chamber, the walls are perfectly smooth, but the ceiling is
all jacked.
Chipped and stuff like that, and that is most likely because they were tuning the room to a certain frequency. When it vibrated, it would have a certain frequency in that room.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing.
Take a little bit more off.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Exactly.
Yep.
But the Sphinx now. This was something that I think was there already and was reworked because the pharaoh head on it. We talked about
that's clearly reworked. Like I get the fascination when it's first discovered by modern civilization. There's a giant head sticking out of the sand. Like, oh my
god, what is that? It's massive.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But then when you zoom out and you look at the scale of the whole structure and the head, there's no proportions. That's not how whoever built it. That's not how they work.
That's not how they work.
They built the pyramids with such accuracy that we can't replicate now in terms of its dimensions, not just length and width. You're talking about like it is perfectly level.
Yeah.
Plumb. It's aligned gravitationally, magnetically, and with the stars.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, ooh, that head's kind of small. Just leave it. It's fine.
Just leave it. It's fine.
That's not.
And the thing is, and I showed you, because when you always looked at the Sphinx and everybody looks at it and you can tell, it's, okay, the head's small. Right. But you don't realize how much smaller it is until you get an aerial view.
Right.
And I'm going to put a picture up right now. How ridiculous does that look? It's insane. Right. It's insane.
It looks like a cartoon character.
Yeah. It's not even close. That's not what was
You know
there.
what it reminds me of? You remember one of the toys from Sid's house in the original Toy Story that had the big bodybuilder body but had a little duck head?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of.
Manny's son-in-law.
Yeah.
Alex. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what it doesn't make
Alex.
sense. Yeah. The explanations that we grew up with, like, oh, it's a pharaoh's head on this body, like that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
What makes more sense is it was a giant statue, and if you look at how it's posed, it's posed like the types of domestic dogs the Egyptians revered.
Yeah.
They're called, there was like pharaohs, and there's two other types of dog breeds that fit that like profile look.
Yeah.
And if you look at pictures of them now laying down, that's exactly how they
It's
do it.
exactly how they do it.
Some
yeah.
pharaoh was like, I want my head on that. Just
Yep.
trumped his way through ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
It's like, that looks like a good statue.
Looks like
My face would be better. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
No one likes dogs.
No, nobody likes dogs. It looks so much better with my head
Right.
on it. Yep. It'd be the greatest head ever. Yeah.
But it makes more sense that it was built as one thing and someone else came along, which happened throughout a lot of ancient Egypt. I don't think there's any question. A lot of like, they just take over ownership of things. Like, I did this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it was there. They found it like, I want it to be me.
I want it to be me.
Okay.
Or it could have. The other thing too is you think about it. If it was a dog, so it would have this snout that maybe over a
Snout
few
and, like, big,
thousand
giant,
years
pointy ears.
and big could have broken off
Or worn out.
or worn out, and they were like, you know what? I'm gonna rework this into me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm a pharaoh. I'm godlike.
Yeah.
Let's rework this, and that's what they did.
He's just sitting in his king's chamber smoking cigars, like, fix it.
Yeah. Yep. And the crazy thing is they know there are tunnels and chambers inside of it.
And we know that now because we don't need to actually go cave exploring. With
No.
a headlamp and like
Yeah.
we have all this ground penetrating radar and lidar and things. And you're like, oh, look at that.
Yeah. Like there is
It's
something
there.
there. So now there's an area in the Sphinx that they know there's a chamber there. It's never been opened. And it's in a spot where it was talked about that could be like a Hall of Records type
Yeah.
thing. And it's amazing that the man who's in charge of this place won't allow anybody to open it.
No.
So Zahi
That's because it doesn't
years-
exist,
Yeah,
according to him.
Yeah, exactly. So now, recently, some footage showed up. They found some footage from 1993. He went in
That's
there
a long
with
time ago
with
now,
the
by the
film
way.
crew. Yeah,
It's disgusting.
it's
how long ago.
disgusting how long ago that was. But in
33 years
'93,
ago.
yeah, right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's-
No. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
I have to ask my 8-year-old to do that math for me.
Do that. Yeah, exactly. But they found this chamber in 1993. He went in there with the film crew.
It was like when Geraldo opened up Capone's vault.
Yeah.
That's how they filmed it.
They went in there. They didn't unseal it, but they went in, they found some stuff, and then immediately left, sealed it back off. All the camera crew and all those people was forced to sign non-disclosure agreements, and the film was handed over to the Egyptian antiquity,
Yep.
agency or whatever it is. And now some of this film just reappeared of them inside
Doing it.
While
he's been denying it
He's
for
been
decades.
denying it for years.
Yep.
So what is in there? What did
There's
he
something.
find? He found something that disproves everything he's talking about,
Or contradicts something that he's dug in about, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
That, in my mind, makes more sense as a place to store something.
Yeah,
Not in the pyramids. Like we've gone through them, like because that.
they're
That's-
power stations.
Those are the carburetors for the rest of the engine.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Or the spark plugs, whatever it is. Like,
Yeah.
But I think the Sphinx makes more sense. Like, all right, that's the guardian, the guard, whatever,
Yeah.
into this whole site.
Yeah,
You put it there.
yep.
That's where it makes sense.
Yeah,
It's like here's the directions on how to run the engine.
yeah, exactly.
Dude.
Yep.
It's the operator's manual. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine the pyramids are a 2-stroke engine.
Yeah. You gotta mix gas and what?
That's what it is. We
Mix
get the
oil with
mixture
gas.
wrong.
Yeah. No, but that's what it could be. I mean,
Yeah.
we know there's
It could be anything.
Yeah.
But they don't want it to be anything at all. They,
they
want it
don't-
to be nothing.
Yeah, they're
whatever
worried. They've written history and they don't want to have to erase any of it and write it
Which
again.
is dumb.
Which is just dumb because we talked about that before. Just because you were wrong doesn't discredit your career. You went based off the information you had.
You were correct with what you had to go on.
Yeah, with what you had to go on. You worked something out that made the most sense at that time.
Right.
Now something comes along and changes it. And, just like when some doctor that was saving lives years and years ago was like, I can put these leeches on your temple and you're going to be good. You know what I mean?
You know what would be great for this house? Asbestos.
Yeah.
Paint it with that lead paint.
Paint it
It'll
with-
seal it nicely.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, turns out kids have 3 heads now. Let's not do that.
Let's stop doing that, yeah.
But it's at the time when you made those decisions and discoveries, you did the best you could with what you had. And
Yeah.
I think there's shouldn't be any shame involved with that. Like, hey, this is what we thought based on what we had. We found some new stuff, and guess what? We were wrong.
We were wrong, yeah, exactly.
But he can't do it.
No,
Cannot do
he
it.
can't do it. He refuses to do it. I know he's not fully in charge anymore, but he has so much influence over everybody.
He's been involved for so long.
So long.
Yeah.
He's still, leading on certain expedition, and stuff like that. But he's got his hands in it too far, and he has too much influence, and it's just ruining everything. Get him out of there.
You know what we need? We need an incursion done with Josh Gates and Mike Rowe, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Who's gonna argue with them?
yeah, right.
Nobody.
Nobody.
I wouldn't.
Exactly. But I think we know there's tunnels underneath it. We know there's chambers underneath it. Now we know there's chambers that lead to the pyramids.
Not just under the Sphinx. This whole plateau.
The whole plateau has got a massive underground.
It's underground now.
Yeah.
Who knows if it was underground when it was made?
Yeah, it might not have been, or who knows? It may have. You know what I mean?
Tens of thousands of years ago, that whole area was jungle.
Was jungle, yeah. It was lush forest, like rainforest.
It was fertile land, I guess. Is a better way to think of it.
That would be the best way to say it.
Yeah.
But it was green and lush, and
They weren't digging in sand.
no,
They weren't. That's the
No.
thing. Is like they had resources, and
yeah,
I think, at least for the Sphinx, like it's not. It was one thing at one point. It became something else because somebody reworked it.
yeah,
I think that's clear. What's inside of it, I have no idea. I don't like to speculate. It's an
No,
operator's
exactly.
manual. I don't want to speculate.
yeah,
But you mentioned there's more,
yeah,
right? Where in the plateau, the same area, right?
yeah, exactly. So they're finding these other.
Similar size.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's the thing is they're similar size, they're shaped. It's crazy. Now the funny thing is whether you believe in this person or not. But Edgar Casey, do you know Edgar
Yes.
Casey? So he predicted that there was a
second
chamber.
one.
He
Oh,
predicted
yeah.
that there was more than one
That's
Sphinx,
right.
but he also predicted that there was a chamber below the Sphinx, the one that we know,
Yep.
and that it held a hall of records. Who built it, how it was built, when it was built, all this stuff. He predicted that was there, and nobody has gone in to look to see if it was there. Whether he was right or not, guy made some crazy
Yeah.
predictions.
They must have some
You know?
badass librarian letting people in around.
Yeah, yeah. yeah. That guy made some crazy predictions, throughout his life and stuff. But
It would make sense. Like, think about all the stories we have about like the library of Alexandria.
yes,
Like, everything was lost. Like, you think that was the only one ever?
yeah,
Of course
exactly.
not. Of
Exactly.
course not.
No, yeah,
And where better to place something like that, but under like a symbolic guard to this giant site?
Yeah, exactly. Because there was another massive library in Baghdad
Right.
that was destroyed. I think it was like in the 800s or something like that.
Oh, I
or
thought you were
the
gonna say George Bush Jr.
Yeah. No, and
W.
at that time, at that time, it was a hub of education. Baghdad was.
Yeah, it was in the center of the civilized world.
Yeah, they had massive facilities for teaching, hospitals,
Everything.
Like they had all this stuff, and all these people wrote these things, and they stored them. And of course, I don't know who it was. I can't remember exactly who it was. Invaded, and they just destroyed. They were like,
That's
"This is nonsense," and burned it.
But that's
know?
that's human history. Is
Yeah.
when one culture takes over another one, You erase the one you took
Erase
over.
them.
Like, this is ours now.
Yeah.
I don't care what you believed, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So it's not unheard of. So why not hide it underground in a place where no one's going to find it?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just human history. We're doing it now
Yeah,
in our country.
yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous.
It's insane.
But I think the Sphinx is visually, symbolically, like representative of what we know from history, but also there's a lot more to it that we don't know.
Yes,
and we should.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a dog.
Yeah,
Or jackal, they would say.
or even a lion, because it does stare at the constellation of Leo.
Does it?
Yeah,
Did they come up with that constellation? Did they make it Leo? Is it?
I don't know. Isn't
Isn't it weird that a bunch of like different
bunch of people like,
civilizations,
"That's a lion."
yeah, they look at the same like formation of stars, like, oh, that's something,
Yeah,
but they pick the same
they
stars.
pick the same stars. Yeah,
Weird.
yeah, it's weird. All right, because the aliens came down, and they were like, "Oh, those stars. That's what." That.
You know, I'm beginning to think Ridley Scott was onto something in Prometheus.
Yep,
I think
yeah.
he was, maybe he was right. Imagine
Yep.
that becomes the historical record.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the
But-
Sphinx is always fascinating because I think that plus the pyramids are what most people traditionally, when you hear Egypt, you're like, that.
That's what you think of. Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, it's a man's head on a lion's body or whatever. It's a dog's body.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not.
It's
It's something else. Someone said, I want that to be me.
Yeah, it's an amazing place, and I think the Egyptians, who did incredible things and had an incredible civilization, built stuff based on something that was already there.
Yeah. They tried to replicate.
They replicated some things.
It's no different than the Aztecs or the Inca that replicated the Olmec civilization.
Yeah.
That needs to go in there, by the way.
Yep.
But I think there's so much more to history, and I think Egypt is a good focal point because it's so visible.
Yes.
I just mentioned South America and those. It's swallowed by jungle.
Yep.
By the way, it never used to be jungle. Anyway, that's a whole different episode.
Yeah.
But I think because it's so visible and open and readily available to see
Yeah.
is why it became a focal point, and everyone's obsessed with it. But it's wild to think all those things. They built pyramids and these giant statues, these obelisks, and all these things, and like no one knows how they did it.
No one knows how they did it. And it's funny.
They made hieroglyphs for everything else, but not that.
And it's funny that later pharaohs built pyramids too, but they're smaller and less significant and,
Right.
and not as good.
Right.
Why would you? They were, because they were trying to replicate something. Because you wouldn't go in there. You'd be like, "Hey, if that pharaoh did it, mine's gonna be bigger.
Yeah.
Let me make
Of
mine
course you
bigger.
did.
You know? Mine's gonna be bigger and better.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna take the stones off of his and make mine better.
Yeah.
It's gonna be huge,
Bigly huger.
bigly huger. No, but it's true. I mean, that's the way they worked. And you look at certain temples and stuff that have hieroglyphs in them, and they've chiseled hieroglyphs away to
Yeah.
erase earlier pharaohs.
Which-
and,
Which lines up with human nature
Yep.
over recorded history. Is like, hey, this is mine now. Get rid of anybody before me.
Yeah.
This is mine.
Yeah.
I'm claiming it.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
It's what you do.
Yep.
But yeah, that was fun.
It was fun. It was fun.
Ah, stupid Sphinx.
Right?
It's a jackal. It's a
think-
giant jackal.
I think we're going to get some more information over the next year. I think there's going to be some more stuff coming out. Some people are really doing some digging around there now.
They
and
are
things
now.
are happening.
I'm
things are
I'm
moving
actually
along.
hoping. I'm looking at when we started this show.
Yep.
And when like all the news has come out, like, oh, there'll be big news later this year. I'm in my head, I'm projecting, I'm hoping for like our 1 year anniversary, we can have this big Egyptian reveal episode.
Yeah, that
I'm
would be
hoping it
great.
lines
that,
up.
that would be great. Yeah.
It won't happen,
No.
and it'll be that dude's fault. And
Yeah.
I'll blame him entirely.
We're gonna get aliens before we get the actual
you
Egyptian
imagine?
thing. Yeah, it's crazy, but we'll see. Hopefully, we'll find some stuff out. I think we will.
I think we will too. So for our next episode, we actually had some more fan mail.
Yeah.
And another suggestion.
Yep.
So instead of pulling out of the Holy Grail, the next episode we're going to talk about the Baltic Sea anomaly,
Yes.
and that came from fan mail. So again, thank you for sending that in,
Yep.
giving us the suggestion. So check out our next episode of Craig and Dave's Sci-Piece, where we'll talk about the Baltic Sea anomaly. And also, make sure you tell Josh Gates how much you love him, because we do.
We do.
Love you, Josh.